Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on IPM performance for the month of September. Today, we will be having a brief look at the story of sitagliptin market so far. Then it will be followed by IPM therapy performance, the overall performance, the growth drivers, the performance of the top 40 corporates and brands. This will be followed by a short curtain raiser video on the Vista Farm Analytics platform that we have launched this week. We conclude with our most favorite section of opinions that matter, where we have a very interesting discussion with Ms. Megha Menon, who would throw light on how FDC has capitalized on the legacy of Electoral brand to drive exponential growth. So first, we go to the sitagliptin patent loss story so far. What we have seen, if you look at this, the number of new launches that have happened since July. July was a month where patent loss of sitagliptin happened. The number of new launches, the fever of new launches has gradually died down. Though you see the number of corporates which are operating in this market today are around 40 corporates, 39 to 40 corporates operating in this market. There may be more number of companies, there may be more number of brands, but what we capture is the secondary sales, the goods that have moved from the stockist to the retailer. That's the reason why we see close to 130 brands operating in the market and which have been launched by 39 corporates, probably 39 to 40 corporates. There may be more number of companies, more number of brands. Now, when it came to the innovator brands, they were always present in the sitagliptin and Sita plus metformin market. But when it came to generics, they have also entered the Sita plus DAPA segment. There are close to 36 brands in the Sita plus DAPA segment, which have been launched by around 20 companies. It is a relatively small market. So if I were to look at the absolute size of the Sita market, the DAPA plus Sita combinations, they have just 1% of the market share. In terms of quantities, it may look a little bigger, but then if I were to talk about it as a very attractive opportunity, a little early to talk about the attractiveness of this opportunity. Then we look at how has the erosion of the market has happened because of the erosion of the market share from innovators have happened because of the generics entering the market. We looked at how the situation looked in the sitagliptin plains market and how does the situation look in the sitagliptin plus metformin market. And we also tried to investigate why this may be happening. Now, if I were to look at the sitagliptin plain market, the market share over the period of July, August, and September, as far as the value is concerned, the sitagliptin plains, the innovator brands currently have around 80% of the value market. However, if you look at the quantity market share, which talks about the absolute consumption, today, sitagliptin in terms of quantity, the plains have only 60% of the quantity market share. How has the market evolved in terms of growth, pre and post-patent loss era? Look at this. April, May, June were the months where sitagliptin patent existed. The average monthly sale was around 7,000. Whereas post-patent, the average monthly sale has gone to around 12,000. So in terms of absolute quantity consumption, the growth in monthly sale as of absolute quantities has grown by 66%. Now, if I were to look at how does the picture look in terms of value, the value growth is around 15%. This is obvious because the price of the generic brands has been quite cheaper. Does this picture look similar in the sitagliptin plus metformin market? Not really. If you see, as far as the sitagliptin plus metformin market is concerned, the value as well as quantity market share of the innovators is around 80%. So when it comes to the combinations market, the innovator brands have managed to fairly hold on to their market share of 80%. How does the growth look? If you see the average growth, monthly growth, post-patent loss and pre-patent loss, it's around 31% as far as the quantity is concerned. But in terms of value, there is actually a value degrowth shown by this market. In terms of the size of the market, if you look at the quantity, 12,000 versus 44,000, 26 crore versus 54 crores. This market, the combinations market, is a much bigger market. But when it comes to the opportunity grabbed by the generics, the opportunity grab seems to be stronger in the sitagliptin market. Now, why this may have happened, we need to look at the pricing structure. So if you look at the generics, this is the pricing that the generics have come out in this market. The pricing in the sitagliptin planes is almost 25% of the generics of the innovators. Whereas if you look at the Sita plus Med segment, the price per tablet is almost 70% of the innovator. So clearly, the planes are the ones which have managed to have a very strong price advantage. The generics had a very strong price advantage as compared to the innovators. And that is the reason why you see a stronger penetration in the patient masses in the sitagliptin planes market as compared to the generics market. So that was something about the story of sitagliptin off patent story so far. Next, we go to the IPM therapy performance. This month, the IPM has shown a very robust growth. The monthly growth for the month of September is close to 13%, unit growth around 3%. Almost all the therapies have shown a very robust value and a very nice and decent unit growth. The only two therapies or only two major therapies which have shown a little stagnant or not so encouraging growth would be the anti-infectives and respiratory segment. The reason for anti-infectives also, it is the antivirals which have actually brought down the growth of the anti-infective segment. In fact, all other categories within the anti-infective segment have shown a very good growth. It is the antivirals, especially the antivirals which had a prominent role to play in the COVID story. Those antivirals have brought down the growth of this market. In case of respiratory, it is the cough and cold segment which has brought down the growth of this market. Coming to the growth drivers, if you see for the last 4 months, the growth drivers for this entire market have been very nicely balanced. There is an excellent balance of volume-driven growth, which is the absolute increase in the demand of the goods, the price-driven growth, where the players or the different brands have managed to take a decent price hike, and the new introduction-driven growth, where a good number of new introductions have happened in the market. If you see the skew towards price growth is slightly more in these coming months as compared to the volume growth. But still, I would say it's a fairly good and good balance between the growth drivers for the overall market. Now, if I look at how does the situation look in the different therapies, at a MAT level, again, if you see a fairly good amount of price-driven growth shown by the market, the volumes were little or are little on a lower side for a good number of therapies as far as the MAT figures are concerned. However, if you look at the monthly figures, in majority of the therapies, price-driven growth is quite strong and robust. Also, the volumes have driven the growth to a great extent. It's only certain therapies like anti-diabetes, where the new introductions, especially because of the CETA loss of patent, it is in these therapies that the new introductions have played a significant role as far as the growth is concerned. And because the generics have entered in the market, the price growth for the anti-diabetes segment, the price-related growth is on a relatively lower side. Coming to the top 40 corporates and top 40 brands, almost 50% of the top 20 companies have shown a value growth which is above the all India average. The ones which have marked in green color are the companies whose value growth for the month of September is above the all India market growth, which is 13%. Rest of the companies also tend to be on the positive direction, but then yes, there are some companies who have done better than the overall overall IPM. Then we look at the next 20 companies. Even in the next 20 companies, I would say out of these 20, around 10 to 11 companies show a similar phenomena where the monthly growth is much above the growth of the Indian pharma market. Then we look at some of the key brands. While Augmentin, Glycomet GP, and Mixtard, they continue to have a strong position in the market. What we have also seen is there are certain other brands in the market which have managed to show a very good and robust double-digit growth. And there are a good number of such brands. Whether it is the top 20 brands, even in the next 20 brands, there are brands like Ultraset, Pandy, T-Bag, and Delma, which have shown a robust growth. In fact, Telma, for the past few months, it was really on a negative traction, whereas the brand has now revived and is showing a very strong and positive. This was a short summary or understanding of what happened in the market so far. So if I were to talk about the key takeaways of this market, the new launch fever in the sitagliptin generics market seems to be gradually fading or gradually subsiding. Erosion in the market share seems to be more prominent in the plains market due to the higher price advantage of the plain generics over innovators. The market size of the plains market has grown by over 60% on monthly basis post CETA patent loss, also indicating that the patient consumption of the generic sitagliptin has increased. Majority of the therapies in the IPM, except the anti-infectives and respiratory, have shown a robust value and volume growth, and most of the top 40 corporates and brands continue showing healthy growth trends for the month of September. Followed by this session, we have a short curtain raiser video on our innovative pharma analytics platform that we have launched for the market in this month, in fact, in this week. This platform gives you a complete analysis of the pharma market data in ready-made analytical dashboards. And this has been supported by our time-tested and trusted PharmaTrack data. I'm also glad to announce the launch of our 100 metro data, wherein we will be providing data for the top 100 metros. If I were to talk about how significant this data would be, top 100 metros contribute to around 70% of the acute market and more than 85% of the chronic market. And this would be a very handy tool for you to do your analysis at a HQ level. So now we look at our Vista Analytics platform. Yes, we have now. Stop share. Share screen. Let's go to our opinions that matter section first, and then we go to the main.
Good morning everyone, welcome to Opinions That Matter. I hope you all are loving this new segment wherein we speak to the brands who have performed exceptionally well last year. This time, we got an opportunity to speak with Electoral, a brand that is known and has touched all our lives. A go-to brand when it comes to doctors, athletes, and even for all of us when we are looking out for a rehydrating solution. I welcome the team from Electoral to discuss with us the nuances of marketing. Megha, welcome to Opinions That Matter. Now, Electoral has been around for more than 50 years, and I believe you guys had celebrated 50 years of Electoral last year. This is the 51st year of Electoral in India, rehydrating lives of the population. Now, talk to us about the journey of Electoral, right from when you had launched to today. How has the journey been?
So, talking about Electoral's journey, like every great brand has a story to tell. And here I would like to depict Electoral's journey through a story. So the story dates back right until 1960s when possibly the world as a whole was battling with diarrhea. and you had almost like 4.6 million children dying globally every year due to diarrhea. Now, diarrhea is a serious condition. All the more serious was the outcome, that is dehydration. So in the 1970s, earlier, WHO, UNICEF came together and introduced, recommended, distributed oral rehydration solution, as we commonly know as the ORS, in those years. Thereafter, under the leadership of the young visionary then, Mr. Anand Chandavarkar, we launched Electral. Electral took birth in the year 1972 to beat clinical dehydration. And rest, as they say, is history. But thereon, Electral has achieved several milestones. Today, as you know, that Electral is a 300 crore brand, as you can see in the market. Now, this journey has been quite an interesting, quite an incredible one. Electral was launched in the green and white packet, which we all have seen, and possibly today that packet is a household name. Electral is a household name which we all know and possibly relate to. Ever since then, we continued to launch our unit dose packs. Thereon, we went ahead, keeping in mind, all the while throughout the entire journey, we kept just one thing at the core and center, and that is the patient benefit. So keeping that in mind, it was important to meet the market dynamics, to continuously evolve in this market. And there we came out with our Electral in a ready-to-drink format, which offered compliance, convenience, especially when you consider children as a population. That's pretty much the need of the hour. So Electral, though launched as a green and white packet, which we all resonate to very, very well, it went on to further launching the unit dose, again just keeping in mind one factor, the compliance and convenience. Thereafter, looking at the dynamics, the generations that moved on required something which is ready to drink, which is more compliant. In that sense, we launched Electral ready to drink, which was easy to consume, easy to carry anywhere. So if I look at a brand Electral, yes, we were launched in 1972. And today, as we complete 50 long years of rehydrating lives, there are several milestones that Electral can take pride in, whether it is in the form of a launch. Even till date, if I have to say, we recently launched a first time in India brand by the name of Electral Z+. Again, a combination which was never there in the first time in the market, and a combination to once again beat clinical dehydration. Obviously, the indication here is different. But yes, under utilizing the brand equity of Electral, we continue to evolve, and we're sure that we'll continue to achieve many more such milestones in the days and years to come.
And that's quite inspiring, honestly speaking. Now, I'm sure in these 50 years, you must have also, been through a lot of hurdles and roadblocks. How did you take care of those aspects?
So talking about hurdles, setbacks, challenges, hurdles, however you put it, is possibly a part of every brand's path to success. So if I look at it, what were the setbacks? What were the challenges? Possibly I would put it as challenges rather than setbacks. Yes, when we started off, there was a lot of discussion on what we call as the WHO approved osmolarity of 245 milliosmol per liter. Now, this was not difficult because at that point in time, there were a lot of discussions, lot of debates, which actually went into understanding what is the right osmolarity drink which could actually create the difference, which could offer benefits to the patient, whether it was in terms of reducing stool output, vomiting, whatever be the case. So there were a lot of discussions. It took us time, and it really took a lot of references, a lot of science that went in through, a lot of discussions that went in through to actually prove that yes, 245 milliosmol per liter is the right osmolarity ORS. And we had several data which came on board and proved that effectiveness of any formula would be improved if we followed this approved osmolarity of 245 milliosmol per liter. And finally, then this got coined as the WHO approved osmolarity, because there were a lot of discussions wherein we had a WHO formula which was different. Then there was a lot of discussion. And finally, now this 245 milliosmol per liter, which is true to Electral, actually came as a WHO approved osmolar solution. And today that is what is being recognized again and again, reaffirmed by the medical fraternity. So if I look at setbacks, if I look at challenges, possibly this was one of the biggest challenges that, now this was not recent, this was long years ago. And today, like any other brand would face, yes, we do face challenges in the routine, which we as a brand are overcoming day in and day out, whether it is threat from the local competition, whether it is threat from other players in the liquid segment. So there are challenges day in and day out, but I'm sure as a brand leader, we will be able to overcome these challenges as well.
When I talk about Electoral, the first thing that comes to my mind is the brand equity that Electoral enjoys. And how have you capitalized on that equity of being a known brand in the market and trying to build upon that to increase your customer base, increase the volumes, increase the sales? How have you gone about doing that?
Great question. So talking about brand equity, as you rightly mentioned, yes, Electoral has a very, very strong, respectable brand equity that today we are proud of. Now, while this is there, at the same time, as brand leaders, it becomes a responsibility for us to educate, to make people more and more aware, because awareness is the key over here. Until and unless you're not aware, you will not act. So as a brand leader, it becomes our responsibility in order to capitalize on the market. We need to make people aware. When I say people, it could be a patient, it could be a consumer directly. We need to make them aware that yes, it is not just about rehydration with water, but it is about rehydration with water plus electrolytes. And that is the need of the hour. So when we're talking about dehydration as an indication here, now dehydration is the loss of water and fluids and electrolytes. And how do you replenish that? With an oral rehydration solution. So we do that by, again, like I said, a lot of initiatives that we have in place. Continuously, the agenda here is that we need to make them aware, not just about what is an oral rehydration solution, but also about the right hydration practices. Because it's very easy for people to switch over to, let's say, a high sugar drink when you're dehydrated. But is that the right way of doing so? The answer is no. So if I have to simply put, again, being the brand leader, having such a strong equity, how do I capitalize further on the market? It is only going to be through a further aggressive communication. Communication coupled with a lot of awareness at all levels, involving all stakeholders, because every stakeholder here is important, will be the key to capitalize, consolidate my share in the market today and grow on that.
So if I were to ask you, how have you worked on the mind market share in the marketplace? I'm sure there are new brands that have entered the market. There's a lot that can be done when it comes to increasing your mind market share. How have you gone about with that?
Mind market share. So if I look at mind market share, it is all about how do I create top of the mind brand recall. So it's all about recall. Now for us, this was not easy. Again, it required a lot of efforts. And all the more, it is the trust which has been there on the brand ever since that has helped us scale up this journey the way you're seeing it today. So yes, if I look at how do I achieve the mind market share, or how do I achieve top of the mind brand recall, here the most important thing is what and how am I communicating. So how am I communicating? The aggression with which I'm communicating, what I'm communicating, because today we are in a cluttered market. We have a lot of players, we have a lot of brands which mushroom in season and then go off, which have very secure short-term interest. We have brands which are misleading the market. So we have a cluttered market which have players of different kind of origin, players of different kind of agendas. But Electoral today has created or is trying to continue and create that top of the mind brand recall with a very clear-cut positioning in place. So when I talk about positioning, we call ourselves the WHO, original WHO laws. So we are a WHO formula, we are original. So when we say original, it adds a lot of trust, it adds a lot of credibility. And yes, today Electoral is positioned as a life savior when it comes to clinical dehydration. So this possibly has been a very big plus point, and that is how doctors, consumers, customers relate to brand Electoral. The moment you hear of, you see Electoral, the first thing that you know that yes, I am in safe hands. So that is the kind of trust, that is the kind of legacy Electoral as a brand has been built upon. And through our communication tactics, we continue to build upon this single point agenda that doctor, this is the brand that has been associated with you in the last 50 years. Because as you know, doctors have been associated with this brand for long years, and they have a trust which they place on the brand. So this is a very important factor, and this has helped the brand in a very big way, the trust and the dependability. And this has come why? This has come only because one of the quality that we offer, and second, the originality that we claim, and third, because of the benefits that we offer as a brand. So because it's not just quality, quality has to come with the offering the customer benefits. So all in all, through our communication, through our tactics, we try and communicate these points very aggressively and time and again hammer onto these points so that we can create that top of the mind recall in the doctor's space. Talking about consumers, the agenda there is to make the consumers aware, to be visible. So through visibility, we create a lot of visibility, and at the same time, we educate our consumers through doctors. We educate our consumers through a lot of social and digital initiatives so that everybody is aware today as to what is the right kind of oral rehydration solution that one must take. So this is how we try and create top of the mind recall, or as you said, achieve the mind market share in such a competitive landscape.
Okay, so now last but not the least, I would love to know the vision of this brand. What do you envision for Electral in the next 50 years?
Vision for the brand Electorals. So I'm sure you have heard when you go to, or rather you must have practiced this when you go to a Kirana store and ask for water. You don't say water, you say mujhe ek bisleri dena. Our vision for the brand is, yes, today we know that ORS is synonymous to Electoral, or that's how we want to perceive it. But going by the years, in the years to come, we want that anyone who asks for an oral rehydration solution or ORS only thinks of Electoral and purchases only an Electoral. That is the long-term vision for the brand we have.
That's quite an ambitious plan, Megha, but I truly believe this is possible and you are the one who can make it work. I look forward to buying Electral as a rehydrating solution on the grocery stores in the coming few years. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. Thank you for joining us today morning. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead.
Okay, and with this, we go back to our curtain raiser video of Vista Farm Analytics platform. We had a small glitch, but we'll go ahead with the video now. Share करो अपना screen. What? Okay, fine. We seem to have a small technical glitch. We will do it next time. Meanwhile, our servicing executives will be in touch with you to give you some more details about this platform. Thank you.